How are you connecting the dots in your business? Hi, everyone. This is Melinda. This is a solo podcast because I just have to share this story. Connecting the dots, cracking codes, seeing patterns just lights me up. And last Friday, I had this huge aha moment come to me. I created a little reel on Instagram. I think I might have gone to Facebook as well. I even put it on my old Instagram account. And so I have to show up and share the story because I'm just still like, whoa. And it has to do with ads and affiliates and all sorts of things in conjunction with your business. So this is also going to be an informative podcast to really help with some things that I have not heard anyone discuss yet. Now, granted, I'm not saying I'm all knowing in terms of all things social media and AI, but I'm pretty aware. And my point of this podcast is that I'm very intuitive. And that's what I help my clients with as well. Like, how can I help you learn to see more so you see what is going on out there and ask the right questions? Ask the right questions. Not be afraid to ask the right questions. Be curious. Have a contrarian mindset and use AI in the process. There is way too much conversation out there about how AI is dangerous, which then also swings the pendulum that way instead of really learning how to use AI to your benefit. So this story is just still blowing my mind, and it keeps like unraveling even more as I ask more questions. So last night I had even more questions that came to me. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to at least do pencils down. If this ends up being more of a conversation that I do more podcasts around and people like it and it gets good traction, it's really helpful, then I will continue to share my unveilings. Who knows where this may lead me, actually. But for me, it's fun. For me, this is fun. So here is the smackdown a little bit of what happened. And just so you know, too, there is absolutely nothing negative in what I'm sharing. So I don't have a negative lens on any of the components of this. So do not get this confused. It's literally just data and facts from a very grounded perspective, which is also how I would help someone not attach emotions or judgment or anything to these types of scenarios, because there's going to have more and more and more of them. So if you don't know me, if you are just finding me, my husband and I own Good Karma Sport Fishing and Educational Programs. So we have an in real life part of our business that we have had since January of 2012. Quite a journey to get there. This podcast is not about that. In 2020, during COVID, when we were on lockdown and literally people could not get into the Florida Keys, we started educational programs and paid communities. So we have both. We have an online, very, let's say, SEO driven type business. And we have an in-person business, also too, very SEO driven. And in that, I have also explored running ads many, many times. So many times. I have explored it. I've been in masterminds about it. I've bought courses on it. I've followed coaches. I've listened to a gazillion countless podcasts. My husband and I have talked about it a gazillion times. We have analyzed people in our lane, let's say, that do it, and we have our own conclusions about how their business is structured and is that makes sense also for our business. We have different audiences, all the things I have explored. So I'm always fascinated by ads. Meta ads, Instagram ads, and even LinkedIn ads, which is a whole other topic, but also quite interesting to explore. So in conjunction, there's a very big coach online who's been around forever. She's a ginormous audience. She's also part of a group, which is actually a really cool story. And I have never bought anything from her. I've never really even followed her. I just know who she is, like most people do. And she was on a podcast a while ago. I don't remember exactly when. And that podcast just happened to come into my YouTube feed. And I didn't know the host either. And I was like, okay, don't follow her, but I'm just kind of interested. Like, I don't know, I'll listen to this podcast. So I was just drawn to listen to the podcast. In the podcast, I could sense that something was wrong with her relationship with her partner. I could feel it. I could feel it by what she didn't say. I could feel it by what she was saying. I was like, something is up with her energy and her relationship is on the rocks. And sure enough, about a month later, she announced that they were splitting up. So I was like, no surprise. I obviously don't wish pain on anybody. I've been in my own toxic relationship before my husband. I wrote about it in my book, Life and Love Lessons. Like, I don't, revel in that. I just saw it. So anyhow, so then she runs an ad just recently in end of June. And it was in my Instagram feed. And I was like, oh, well, this is kind of interesting. You know what? She's a really big coach. I have a lot of respect for her. I'm kind of curious as to how she runs her ads and her funnels and, whatever. This is only $55. I'm just going to buy it and just see. So I buy the program. I see how her funnels are. A lot of respect there. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then her first call comes around, which is July 1st. And I happen to be home. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pop it on. I'll kind of multitask and listen to her call. It was 2.5 hours long. A lot of respect there. Most coaches are like an hour in general. And during this 2.5 hour call, I would say a fourth of it was the content in relation to the program. A fourth of it was her very celebratory of 2 women in her mastermind, and those women came on the call and talked about the mastermind. So she's promoting, which a lot of coaches do. We do some promoting. She did a lot. I would say about a fourth of the 2.5 hours was promotion towards to a VIP upgrade and this mastermind. Fine. Then a fourth was overall promotion for her other things, I would say. And then this other fourth, this was what was intriguing, it was about becoming an affiliate. And she was creating a kind of like a container of energy around that. And she was talking about it a lot. Like a fourth of the call, I would say, was, and these are just approximate numbers so you can have some context. Don't go back and measure it if you happen to be in this course, not about that. But just for context, that she was spending a significant amount of time, and what she wasn't talking about and what she was talking about, I could pick up on. And this was about being an affiliate. And I love affiliates. Like, we are an affiliate with our sport fishing business. We've been an affiliate for many, many years, many different things. We've had affiliates. I've done affiliate things in coaching. So there's nothing wrong with affiliates. I think it's great. I was actually kind of surprised. I'm like, okay, one of the things I'm picking up on is that she's never done this before. So I was kind of like, wow, this is kind of interesting. So what hit me after the call was, and that stuck with me, was the fact that why is she now doing affiliates? That question came to me. Again, I'm just curious. So I was curious. It wasn't negative because, again, I love affiliates. Always been curious about ads. Nothing negative. I bought from an ad, obviously. Don't hate ads. So I sat with that and I even said something to Ryan. I said, this is quite interesting to me. Something's sticking with me. Something's making me curious. Like, why is she now doing affiliates? So the next day there's a drop, same type of thing. She talks about the affiliate program in this Telegram drop. Fine. But it's still sticking with me. Something's just interesting, but I don't try to figure it out, right? I don't try to figure it out. I just have this curiosity question out there. So what ends up happening, it was Friday morning. So that all started Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Friday morning, I wake up out of nowhere. I was not thinking about her. I was not thinking about the program. I was not thinking about anything. But out of nowhere, it comes to me that Meta changed their ad structure. And I was like, oh, wow. Let's ask Gemini. So if you listen to my last podcast with my husband, you can see where I'm trying to share with you, like, just ask Gemini. You have an intuition hit, you have an idea come to you, ask Gemini. So I asked Gemini. And I always say, like, don't echo back, because I believe there's a lot of energetics in an echo chamber relationship. It could be good. It could also not be so good, right? Then I also ask for the good and the bad. I want to know, like, what am I missing? Am I thinking of this incorrectly? Am I wrong? And AI will tell me if I'm wrong. If I say, please tell me if I'm wrong, it'll tell me if I'm wrong. So I put it out there. I said, hey, did Meta change their whole advertising structure with ads on Facebook and Instagram? Yep, 100%. So it was very fascinating and very enlightening. And my heart, believe me, goes out to people that have set up their business on ads, because it has changed. And there are many coaches who have set up a whole business structure based on running ads, messaging, and having a lifestyle of freedom, because you don't need to do anything but set it, basically, and kind of go on with your day. I don't want to say set it and forget it, because that's not fair, but set it and go on with your day. Go to Pilates, have fun with your kids, and all that, which you should be able to do. You should be able to do. But what they have done is called Andromeda, is their new system. And they actually started testing it in 2024, rolling it out 2025, more in the fall. It says, like, the timeline was like October. And then pretty much everything was like whoosh, in March of this year. And it has changed from the fact that in the past, when you would run an ad, you were the driver, either you or your ads manager, if you had someone, whether it's on your team or you hired it out, third party, and you would be the one always setting, like, the demographics and the your target market, let's say. Well, now AI is choosing that for you. The cost of a customer acquisition, so a CAC, that has changed. Also, too, how people would have, like, a static picture. So they could have, like, a static picture or post. That has changed. And now Andromeda wants creative similarity penalty is something that happens. So they want more creativity. And so there's a creative similarity penalty, where a lot of creators now, whether you have an ad agency or not, you need like 20 to 30 different, like, outfits, hooks, angles for your ads. So you can't just have, like, one static pretty picture of yourself with some great messaging and run it against your demographics that you have inputted. AI is reading the ads now. They've also changed the day trackers. So it used to be like a 7-day tracker. Now it's like just a 1-day tracker. And there's some dynamics within that. And they just changed the costs in general. So imagine all of a sudden, especially if you were not aware of any of this, let's say you're a busy entrepreneur and you haven't really been paying attention, or you don't have an ads manager, or you don't have an ads manager who's really up to speed on everything. All of a sudden, one day you wake up and you're like, what happened? My views went down and my costs went up, and I lost sight of all of the people that maybe clicked 3 days ago, but now want in because they were haunted by it. They want it. I've done that myself. And I'm like, oh, I actually want this 3 days, 4 days later. And I go back and find the link, and it's like coded that I already clicked on it, so they get the credit. And yeah, the game has changed. The game has changed. And so if you're not operating from a place of clarity within yourself to pick up on these things, you're going to get swept away. You're going to get swept away. If you're not curious to ask the questions, if you have an idea that comes to you and you're going to either not pay attention to it, think it's silly, tough it out, like in that example with my husband and I that we podcasted about, high pressure creativity, that was all about an idea coming to him because we do so much work together that he has these ideas that come to him now, and he's able to manage through high pressure situations. So that podcast is really good to go back and listen to if you haven't yet. And this has definitely changed the game. This has changed the game. So my assumption, and yes, you can say it's assumption, that this big coach who's been running ads forever and has grown her audience over time, all respect, nothing against ads, nothing against this coach, like she must have had the biggest wake-up call. Like, what happened here? What happened here? So yeah, you have to think of some other plans and some other things that you can add into your system. And then if you're on the receiving end and you're someone in a community like that, that then opens a whole can of like, do I do that? Do I start promoting someone else's business? And where is that me being in alignment with my business, or where is that a distraction? Because let me tell you, as someone who has been an affiliate myself, and again, has been in the world of affiliates with our sport fishing business, both as having affiliates and also being an affiliate, there's an aspect of distraction there. There's an aspect of distraction that you have to be conscious of and go, okay, I'm not going to do this. I just need to stay focused on my business and what I'm doing and not be promoting something else. So there's many factors that then can become a piece of this conversation if you're not conscious to this, if you don't have clarity as to what your goals are and what's in alignment with your goals. So it's quite fascinating. I just was like, whoa, it just blew my mind. So then these last couple days, so we just had the 4th of July weekend, and I'm just being very honest and transparent here. I do not spend a lot of time on social media at all. I'm hardly on Facebook anymore. I go on Instagram maybe a little bit, a couple times a day. I try to do like one post a day and one story. Once a week, I try to go through stories and just see what's happening out there. We are just so busy. I do help my husband with posting for Good Karma Sport Fishing. It's a collaborative experience. Just depends on what we feel like doing and who's got the phone in their hand. I mean, really, it's not any rocket science there. It just, some days I help create it and he looks at it, or he creates it and I look at it. Like, it's a collaboration. So, and I take a lot of the video at the marina. So I do that and then give him a lot of ideas and he picks what he wants. Like, he picks what he wants. So that's just a collaboration. So I don't spend time on his phone either, really. So what I found interesting was that another coach whose program I did buy, who I've bought her programs in the past, she's running ads, and I already bought the program like a month ago. When she announced it, I was like, oh, this is no brainer. I'm going to get this. So I got it, and she is obviously, her ads manager is obviously onto this change with Andromeda. And so what I noticed was that every time I go into Instagram or Facebook, there's a new ad from her. There's a new ad for this program, which is really, really, really inexpensive. And again, I already bought it like a month ago. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, here's another ad. So I end up watching them because I'm like, oh, there's another ad. And then it dawned on me last night. I was like, wait a second. Like, oh my gosh, she's probably getting billed for these ads and the fact that I'm watching them and I already bought it. Why would that happen? So that then created another Melinda going to Gemini and saying, hey, this is the scenario. So the one aspect with Gemini, I just asked flat up, straight up questions. This time with Gemini, I'm explaining the scenario. I'm saying, this is what is happening. It dawned on me that she's probably getting like charged for this. And every time I go into Facebook or Instagram, she's right in my feed with a different video, which must be exhausting to have to do like different location, different hooks, different outfit, different overall what she's doing, and creating new content. I know how exhausting it can be just to make a reel. Like, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine what it's like now. The whole, again, concept of freedom that was, taught online by so many coaches is basically out the window. So yes, this is where I definitely learned about the creative similarity penalty that is happening out there, and that there's a disconnect with the iOS and data because of the tracker change. So what does that mean? That means that if I bought her program, let's say on my computer, and then I go on my phone and pull up Facebook or Instagram, the two trackers, like, they're not talking to each other. And Ryan and I have had this with other tech, where if something was done on the computer, it didn't quite register on the phone. I even am having it with our Wi-Fi all of a sudden in the past couple months. So she is getting charged for people that already bought the program, and because of the new change with the different outfits, the different hooks, the different videos, from a psychology standpoint, I, as a human, am just like, oh, there's a new video. Oh, let's watch it. And she's getting charged. Oh gosh, what a mess. What a mess. And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this poor coach, not poor, she's wealthy, but in terms of like, oh my goodness, my heart just bleeds now for these people and these coaches that are in this. And now it's like, that was your marketing strategy. And running ads was your marketing strategy, and you were predominantly on these platforms. So I don't have an answer. My whole point of this podcast is to shed light on how to use AI, having clarity and conscious awareness as to what's going on out there, so you can ask questions and be curious and be a little bit of a contrarian. So you start to like see these things, and then you know what to do for yourself and or your business is super important. And then just overall, like, what's happening in the world? What is happening in the world? So I hope you like this podcast. I could go on and on and on. I have some Instagram insights as far as carousels, same type of thing. Like, why are now there are content creators on Instagram promoting carousels when the reels were doing really well? But Instagram was promoting reels in the algorithm because the reels and the ads kept people on the platform. But now people that are actually paid advertisers with the ads are noticing their ads drop off. Well, why? Because there's more reels. So now there's reel fatigue. So then Instagram goes, okay, hey, we're going to give more time, more views, I should say, to carousels. And then they let those content creators know, so they feed out that information. It's very interesting. It's Gemini said, welcome to the marketing matrix. Like, literally, I have that on my phone. Melinda, welcome to the marketing matrix. Congratulations on all of your intuitive insights, because you are correct. So I hope you like this. I hope this lands in terms of like, not only major insight as to what's going on out there in the land, but also for you to really expand your consciousness, your intuitive gifts, because clarity scales. Check out my website, melindavanfleet.com, and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye for now.